Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome back to another episode. It's been a while, but alhamdulillah we're back. You know, sometimes we just get a bit busy. Sheikh, how you doing?
I'm good. Alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm good. Thanks to Allah. How you been? How's your family?
It's been alright. Everybody's good, alhamdulillah.
Good.
Feels good to be back. You been busy, Sheikh?
Yeah, I've been busy, and we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to keep us busy in His obedience, inshallah.
So today we're going to be discussing technology. Very interesting topic, I think. So, you know, I'm getting more involved with the creative media space. You'll be hearing more about certain things, but I thought we'll start the discussion. Maybe let's talk about back in the days, life before technology, because I was born in 99, so most of my life has been surrounded by technology. So I don't really know what life was like before all these phones and everybody staring at the screens. But can we get your opinion on that? What was so different?
Well, ironically enough, just yesterday, one of the brothers, we prayed Salat al-Dhuhr, and he was going to drop me off to my house. Mm-hmm. And when I got in the car, he was listening to a cassette tape, one of those cassette tapes. I was shocked because I said to him, I didn't even think that these cassette tapes were still around. He said, but it is because this car is very old.
They're the ones that you can wind up.
Yeah. Like you probably even know what I was talking about.
I've seen them. Yeah.
Yeah, the ones you rewind and things like that. And him and I started laughing because when we became Muslims back in the 80s, the tapes were a source of knowledge for us. We were people who used to really try to get tapes from all over the world of different teachers and speakers and scholars and so forth and so on. And I remember, and we brought this up, that if the actual tape were to rip, you can put it together in a makeshift way, and you get a pencil and you put it in a hole and you rewind it and things of this nature. And so people who have been born during the time that you've been born, the millennials, you guys have absolutely no idea whatsoever what it was back then. So technology has definitely helped our community, and it has helped to enhance the lives of Bani Adam. But the flip side of it is a lot of negativity as well has been introduced along with the technology. So back in the day, it was tough. We didn't have mobile phones. I remember when the mobile phones first were introduced, they were very big, and they were very
heavy, I'm sure.
Very heavy, awkward. Not everyone had them. And then when they reduced them in size and made them look slick, you could barely get good connection. The batteries would die in less than an hour. So it was tough. I remember distinctively as well, seeing movies and different images of IBM, the company, and how their database was. It was real old, the way everything looked and the way it was. And you look at it now, and it seems pretty soon in our lifetime, and Allah knows best, that people will stop connecting to and dealing with other real human beings. Mm-hmm. And they will start to deal with life in the virtual world, mm-hmm. the world of computers, where you talk to robots and people like that, and you may yourself have your own avatar, where you just become disconnected and unplugged. Mm-hmm. So, Allah Musta'an.
Yeah, so we're going to dive a bit deeper into, the virtual world. But I thought, before we do that, let's talk about how technology has got some benefits in the sense of, you mentioned that, listening and seeking knowledge. Because I was reading something last night and they were saying that, for example, the television itself isn't evil. It's the way that it's used that can be for bad or for good. Because now there's a lot more content, to do with the religion. So people can use it for either good or bad. But how do you think our religion feels about technology and the advancements of it?
No doubt it's a lot of benefit in technology. Mm-hmm. I'm not really prolific, and I'm not well versed in surfing the net and mm-hmm. using technology. But with the nominal skills and information and abilities that I have, I get a lot of information. Mm-hmm. So if I'm researching for information about hadith, about tafsir, I'm looking for an ayat of the Quran in English, I'm looking for a hadith in English, then it's pretty easy to get that stuff. where it was not like that before. And I'm a novice. I'm not really that good at it, but I know enough where I can, almost get anything that I'm looking for, especially if I have the time. Now, I know some people who are even better than that when it comes to researching. So I'll call these individuals out. I call them up, and they can get information about the Deen at the drop of a hat. And then you have that thing, Siri. I think her name's Siri.
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 Yeah.
So right in the middle of a discussion or something, someone can ask Siri, who was the 17th president of the United States of America?
Yeah.
And it's going to come to you just like that.
Yeah.
So that information, that question, the answer to it may be really important for someone at that particular moment. But the point is, the information is right at your fingertip. Mm-hmm. So definitely the technology has made things a lot more easier. A lot more easier.
I agree with that. I think just to add to that, I feel like for Dawah, like you have like an Instagram page, you might not run it, but I feel like for a reach towards Ummah, I feel like it's really beneficial. A lot more people can learn online and you can connect with people. But then on the flip side, there's a whole aspect of there's too many opinions, don't you think? Or some people can get misled.
That's part of the flip side. Also, laziness has crept into our lives where people are predisposed to just taking the easy way out now. Everybody wants what it is that they want, and they want it in 1 minute or 2 minutes.
Yeah,
just put it in the microwave and nuke it and let it come out ready. Mm-hmm. But, when it comes to Islam, you have to research and you have to study. Mm-hmm. I remember before this technology, one of the things I used to hear all the time as an encouragement and knowledge for the tough road that, you're going to traverse upon as a student of knowledge is that if you give knowledge all of yourself, it will only give you a little bit back because there's so much out there and you have to put so much work in it. They say things like knowledge is like an ocean that has no shores. It is endless. Mm-hmm. It's just so much. So now with the knowledge being made easily accessible, we won't go that extra yard or 2 or 3. We just, we stop there. I'll give you an example just in the world today. Mm-hmm. In England, they used to take pride in the English language, the diction, the vernacular, and also writing it, your penmanship and how you write. So I remember in America growing up, we used to take a class about writing. Mm-hmm. When I studied in Medina as well, because there's a lot of emphasis on how to write correctly in Arabic. We had a class called Al-Khat, how to write correctly. So right now you'll find many of the youngsters who are millennials, many of the people, they can't spell because we abbreviate everything. LOLTBH, for an example, to be honest with you, laughing out loud. And you'll find a person, when he writes, he's writing a letter. He has to write a letter with his hand. He'll write a word and the first letter would be lowercase, but you're supposed to make it uppercase. In the same word, he'll have lowercase and uppercase letters, and he'll have cursive and just regular print. Mm-hmm. And it's part of the trade-off and the blowback of what's going on with the explosion of the internet and this information.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people rely on autocorrect for that, don't they? They just type and just hope that the phone figures out what you're trying to say. So when it comes to spelling it themselves, they ain't got a clue.
Exactly.
So, it is a bit of a sacrifice.
And that automatic spelling is a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, like people like me, you have to go back and reread what you sent because it will change up all the spelling. But if you know what you're doing, it can benefit you like anything else. But the point is, laziness has been introduced to people, and this is one of the trade-offs with the problem of the explosion of the internet.
When you say laziness, one of my next points was going to be that the internet, although it has benefits, it's giving everybody a lot of time wasting, a lot of procrastinating. There's a lot of entertainment stuff on there, and I feel like one big part of our religion is, not be lazy, be more productive. But I feel this is very difficult for us youngsters, especially everybody that's grown up on iPads and smartphones. We're stuck on our phones, so I feel like it's a big issue in the sense of productivity for the Ummah as well. We get distracted. What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely what I would describe as being one of the most effective weapons of Iblis today. Iblis is really doing a wonderful job. And he's doing a great job, a very impactful job against Adam's children right now with the using a weapon of the internet and technology, that it has made people distracted. And we know that one of the goals and the objectives and one of the dangers and pitfalls of the hayat of the dunya is that it will make you distracted. Allah Ta'ala said that he revealed the Quran as a dhikr and as a warner to those who are living, people who are alive, and they're paying attention to what's going on. Not to people who are negligent and their hearts are ghafila, their hearts are unawares. So I saw something on social media where Michelle Obama was just walking past her husband, Barack Obama, and he was sitting there looking at his phone doing something, and he was engrossed in what he was doing, and he didn't pay attention to her. And she walked by and she just grabbed his phone as if to say, come on, man, come off your phone. Now, I don't know the context and the backdrop of that, but what I got from it was he must have been on the phone for some time, and she was doing what any wife would do, what any parent would do, what any of us would do, trying to get someone's attention to say, hey, this is enough. And I think that all of us can relate to that as husbands, as wives, as mothers and fathers, that the time has come where we have to say to people, hey, what are you doing? Go and pray. Now, I know for the most part that many of us, the Muslim children today, they're not going to get up and go and pray on their own if their parents don't tell them. They'll sit there and they'll surf the net and they'll deal with TikTok or whatever it is that they're dealing with. That football, FI, what is it called? FIFA, whatever the case is. So it's definitely an issue where when we talk about the Dajjal, I remember a long time ago, they used to always, the Illuminati type people used to always talk about the New World Order. And I believe that is a reality. And they used to break down the science and the knowledge of the dollar bill, the all-seeing eye and the pyramid. I tell people, miss me with all of that. I want Islamic knowledge. Leave that for someone else. Teach me the Quran and the Sunnah and things like that. And I'm not trying to hear these conspiracies about COVID and the vaccine and the boost, although I believe in conspiracies. But the point is, back then, they had said that the TV was the Dajjal. And I remember a famous Sufi caller from San Francisco, the East Coast in America, used to be really popular. He used to say that and push that agenda. When the Dajjal is not the TV, the Dajjal is the Dajjal. So the point is, the soil and the time is being prepared right now for the Dajjal to come out. And one of the most effective weapons that Shaitan uses for the preparation of the Khuruj and the coming out of the Dajjal is social media. And that is because of the nature of it, the culture of it is not to fact check. You hear something that's amazing, send it out. You have a religious responsibility not to peddle in falsehood, not to spread it, not to be, as a Muslim, I can't spread falsehood. I can't spread things that go against the religion, but the way the culture is, send it out. Most of it is not true. Just send it out, send it out. So now people are getting so used to fake news, and they're getting so used to not verifying. There's a verse of the Quran, in جَاءَكُمْ فَاسِقٌ بِنَبَإٍ فَتَبَيَّنُوا. If an evil person comes to you with any news, then verify and ascertain as to its reality, unless you unknowingly will hurt a person if you don't do that. So a Muslim is a person who verifies. That story of the slander of Aisha, Qissat al-Ifk, when they said that she committed adultery with one of the innocent companions. That whole story is a story of verifying the news that comes to us. So now when a Dajjal comes out and he has his protruding eye and he has kafir written over his forehead, and he's going to call the people to believe, I am Allah. He's going to say, I'm your Lord. You would think everybody who's watching this, podcast right now, even non-Muslims would say, no way in the world am I going to believe in the Antichrist. Prophet Muhammad said, no. each and every one of you, if and when he comes out, go the other way. Because one of you would think you're on strong religion and you go to listen to him being curious, always surfing the net. What's the next issue? And then what? And what happened? Just curious, insatiable appetite about delving into that which doesn't concern you. If a person just took the net about what concerns him, do his homework, educate yourself, build your skill set to be a better whatever your profession is. But it's that stuff, that extra stuff, porno and things like that people are getting involved in. So anyway, he said that person will go, and then the person will see the Dajjal and then turn around and believe that Dajjal is Allah, because he'll be able to do all of this wizardry, all of this lying and this miraculous stuff. So if you're a person who follows trends, you do this dance, you do that dance, everything that they're doing with the dances on TikTok, with the different things that they do, the Muslim is not that type of person. He's a leader. Even if he's a type of person who is quiet and introverted, he's the type of person who thinks for himself. He doesn't let other people think for him. And then he just follows trends because his answer is everybody else is doing it. So, as I said, Akhi, there's a lot of benefit, but I think the evil way outweighs the benefit right now. They have unleashed the shaitan on the people.
It's a very difficult trap too, I think. I mean, one thing that you said there was that, be involved with what concerns you. I feel like that's an important point, into use it as a tool. Like you said, do your homework. Use this technology as a tool rather than let it take over your life. And I feel like, we're becoming more antisocial as time goes on. One thing I wanted to ask you was, were people a lot more social back then? Like, would you talk to more people in public if you're at the bus stop, or would you just conversate? Because I feel like now everybody just looks down.
As Muslims are social people. The religion of Islam encourages that. The Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the believer that mixes with the people and is patient with what annoys him from them is better than the believer that does not mix with the people and he's not patient with what annoys him that comes from them. So if we hang out with people and we're sociable, we're going to see and hear and smell and experience things that we don't like. This one smokes. This one over here is abusive. This one over here is a liar. This one is a time waster. So being sociable, the religion is encouraging us. It said the best of you, the religion, Prophet Muhammad said the best of you is the one who brings most benefit to others. The best of you is the one who memorizes the Quran and teaches it. So the Muslim is a sociable person. So we have walimas. We invite people for dinner, for lunch, aqiqahs, marriages. When there's a funeral, we feed people. We're very sociable. They're Eid. So I'm going to a wedding, inshallah, this Saturday. Bi-idhnillah. Good friend of my wife, son is going to get married. So anytime I go to these weddings, I sit at the table and I find that sitting at the table, 8, 9, 10 people at the table, if there are any children at the table, the children are going to pull out their phones and they're going to start playing games. The adults who are at the table, if they don't know each other, they're going to pull out their phones and they're going to start texting and receiving text messages on WhatsApp or whatever. And even if people know each other at the table, that people don't see it as an opportunity to fraternize and to chop it up and to catch up with each other after not spending time with each other. So I'm always experiencing this, and I'm always saying at the table of the weddings that I attend, let's get to know each other, and then we get to know each other's name, because we don't even do that. You go to a wedding or something and you're one of the people at the table, you don't know the people. You get up and you leave, you won't even know those people who are at that table with you. And all it requires is, again, laziness. Let me sit down and let me just remember his name. What's your name, brother? Never met you before. Irfan. I got to remember that. The next one, what's your name? Sulaiman. So Irfan, Sulaiman. Okay, it's Sulaiman. What's your name? And you go around the table. By the time you finish eating, if you tell everybody their names, they tell you, that's the brotherhood of Islam. But that telephone, it takes us away from all of that. And we wind up leaving the table without having our Islam enhanced and without having our brotherhood enhanced that. And perhaps, who knows, at the table is a resource that can help you in your life, mentally, religiously. It could be anything. But we don't want to tap into that. We don't want to network into that. So I'm telling you, and I'm not speaking like I'm some angel flying around. No. My wife, people start calling me and I don't leave messages. I leave voice messages. But when I'm at home and I'm in Birmingham with my family, that can be all day. My wife is telling me, come on, man, fall back with that. You're on the phone all day. And then I turn around and say, you're on your phone more than me. You are on your phone more than me. She says, no, I'm not. I say, yes, you are, wallahi. She said, no, I'm not, wallahi. She doesn't even see that, wallahi, by the Lord of the Kaaba. She's on that phone more than me.
We don't realize it.
Wasting time.
Yeah.
At least the people I'm talking to is usually with the Deen or something like that. Not always, but most times they're not. Because I'm not going to talk to people like that. So all of us are affected. I'm not talking to this audience as if I'm up here and people are down here. This is a reality of life for us.
I wanted to do this topic to kind of raise awareness. Just think about it, everybody tried to be a bit better. One of the things was that I feel like, don't you think that these phones are kind of like a cop-out in that situation when you're saying like a wedding? We could use it to network and potentially, it could genuinely benefit you in your life. You could meet somebody who's in the same field as you, but instead we cop out and it's too easy to cop out nowadays.
It's a cop-out. People who have social anxiety, they don't do well with mixing with people. The phone came to them with a makhraj. Now they can zone out. I'm just on my phone. As opposed to deal with that anxiety of, how are you? What's your name? Where you from? What's your aspirations? What did you bring to the world? That type thing. So the Muslim is always looking to be progressive, constructive. He makes things happen. But this phone is a problem. Look, in the month of Ramadan, listen to this, brother. I mean, look at our worship. In regards to the heavens is the place of worship. Allah Ta'ala has mentioned many ayat in the Quran. وَيَحْمِلُ عَرْشَ رَبِّكَ فَوْقَهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ ثَمَانِيَةً. There will be 8 angels that will carry the throne of their Lord, Yawm al-Qiyamah. 8. Prophet Muhammad said, from the earlobe to the shoulder of one of those angels would take 700 years for you to travel on a fast animal, like Barak, like a rocket. There's 8 of them. Allah said, يُسَبِّحُونَ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّهِمْ. Those angels, they praise Allah. Prophet Muhammad, when he went to the Isra and Mi'raj, he saw the Baytul Ma'mur. That's the house in the paradise. He says 70,000 angels go in that house and out of that house every day, never to come back again. So you're 23. In the 23 years of your life, every day 70,000 angels went in and out. They're in the heavens. Prophet Muhammad said, in the heavens, there are no 4 fingers that you can put down except there's an angel making sajda. So if you look at the heavens going out and the heavens going up, there are angels everywhere. The angel Israfil, not Israfil, Israfil. Prophet Muhammad used to swear, I swear by the Lord of Jibril, Mikael, and Israfil. Israfil is the angel that will blow in the trumpet. وَإِذَا نُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ فَصَعِقَ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا مَنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ. When the first horn is blown, everything is going to fall out in the heavens and the earth, except what Allah Ta'ala allowed. Prophet Muhammad said Israfil is looking at Allah over the throne, never blinking out of fear. He'll be told, blow, and he blinks. So he doesn't want to disobey Allah. He can't disobey Allah. So in the heavens, it's the place of worship. They worship Allah. In the earth, it's some worship, but it's a lot of evil. Killing, it's more evil and fitna. The only evil and fitna in the heavens is from Iblis and Bani Adam. So we go in the heavens and we put pollution out there and we do all kind of stuff out there. But the angels don't do that. Only us and Iblis. With قُلْنَا الْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ. We told the Malaika bow down to Adam. In the heavens, in Jannah, they all bow down except Iblis. Trouble in the heavens only come Bani Adam and Iblis. That's the point. In the earth, it's a lot of fitna. But the most beloved places in the earth to Allah Azza wa Jalla are the masjids. The masjid. Because in the masjid, you remember Allah, you're praying, you're away from stuff. And the most hated place are the marketplaces. So what's the point? We come to the masjid, and even in the masjid, we don't do the best that we can. We're distracted. Some people come to the masjid without wudu. Some people come to the masjid drunk and high. Some people come to the masjid and they have ongoing relationships that are not, we're human beings, we make mistakes. But look, this is the point about the issue of technology. We come to the masjid and the phone goes off while we're praying.
Distracts you.
The malaika don't have that. They don't have that.
True.
The phone goes off while we're praying. As soon as salam alaikum, there's that person, I gotta take my phone off and I have to read right away. I don't make any dhikr. It's not wajib, but it's better for me.
True.
In the masjid, people make i'tikaf. Oh, the worst thing you want to do is bring your telephone to i'tikaf. How you gonna be in i'tikaf in Ramadan last 2 nights talking about TikTok? So you want to do the mamba? So you want to play with the big boy? How you gonna do that? Billah. How you gonna do that?
It doesn't. It defeats the purpose.
Defeats the purpose. Yeah. It defeats the purpose. So people make Hajj and Umrah.
Yeah.
They take the picture. I'm at the Kaaba. Look, we know that you're at the Kaaba. And if you do that with ikhlas, so as to share with us and let your relatives know you're okay, no problem. But isn't the hand that gives the sadaqah better than the hand that doesn't know? You give the sadaqah and the left hand doesn't know what the right hand gives. So the technology, wallahi, I think the balance with it, the middle course with it is to acknowledge and to embrace. Embrace, it has a lot of good in it. But the evil is worse. The evil, depending upon how people use it. And that's what Allah said about the khamr and gambling. Yas'alunaka an al-khamri wal maisir. They ask you about khamr and maisir. Say, in both of them is benefit. In both of them is benefit. But the harm is greater than the benefit. There's benefit from khamr and gambling. But the harm is greater. That's why it's haram. So now, that's a principle. If a thing like water has harm and benefit, but the benefit outweighs the harm, so it's not going to be haram. So if the harm outweighs the benefit, it's going to be haram. Gambling, whatever it is. So here, I'm not going to say social media is haram. It's how you use it. What did you use the knife for? What did you use the gun for? What did you use it for? So the call here, the action item and the action call is, and wallahi, I was thinking this to myself today. I guess it was because I knew we were going to do this. But I was saying, I need to really, really become serious in terms of organizing my time with this phone. Phone is a fitna.
It's very difficult to keep track of time with your technology. One thing you were saying, Sheikh, about how it's like kind of a weapon and it's coming full force. I'm not sure if you've heard about it, but I'm sure you have. But the Metaverse, what do you know about that? Like, what's your understanding of the Metaverse?
The Metaverse?
Yeah.
I really don't know exactly what is the Metaverse? What is the Matrix? My mind doesn't formulate any particular understanding. I just know it's something that people are using today. But my limited knowledge, the Metaverse has something to do with how the powers to be, the people who are behind these algorithms and everything about the net, how they want to know about you and control you and feed you information to keep you under the control of the yoke of what they. That's what I understood when it's something like that.
For me to best summarize it, I mean, I only know from what I've read, but it's going to be like a mix of the virtual world and the real world. It's going to be augmented reality, which is when you can see virtual things in the real world. And there's also going to be virtual where you're completely...
So the people have the thing on and you'd be like playing golf or fighting and stuff. And
so for the way it's advertised now, they don't really know how it's going to work. It's all speculation, but they're assuming that you're going to be completely immersed. Like me and you could be right here doing this podcast while I could be at home and you could be half an hour away at home and we sat together, which is a bit crazy because it's scary in the sense of you're not you're kind of rejecting the real world, which is what I read about last night, how Islam feels about it. You're rejecting the real world. You're in your fantasy and you're rejecting your responsibilities and whatnot.
I've seen different shows like that. The premise was about this. Mm-hmm. And we know that these people are always, they say art imitates life. So a lot of the things that are happening now, they were giving us glimpses into it a long time ago. As a kid, one of my favorite cartoon shows was The Jetsons.
Okay.
Jetsons, The Jetsons. Mm. They were a futuristic family that was in space. George Jefferson and his daughter and his wife, Judy and Jane and all of them. And they were flying. And when he wants to get out, he just gets out and his car just flies away. It was a cartoon. And that was in the 70s and the 80s. And right now, they have this Tesla car that can drive without anybody driving it. It's just that it's on the ground. Mm-hmm. But you can rest assured that they're thinking about other things. So these things like movies coming out, showing us that this is where these people are thinking about going. All I can say is, generally speaking, science is something that human beings should be happy for. If you can imagine people when they found fire and things like that, inventions that help to enhance the lives of people, you're going to be really happy. But given the nature of Beni Adam is that the world right now and the way it is producing evil people, evil spirits. Mm-hmm. So anything like this is scarier. It's more scarier than it is something that I would look towards having and seeing it. Because I believe these things are the things in the wrong hands, these devils. And when I say devils, I'm just not talking about non-Muslims. I'm not talking the way that people are. People are evil today.
Yeah.
People are evil. And I don't want to fall into that prohibition where the Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whoever says that the people are destroyed, then he destroyed them. So that's the person who's always negative. No, we have hope. We have hope. But there's a lot of evil going on today. So if they were to introduce this thing, Metaverse, I think we're in trouble. Because, it'd be used for the most part to subdue people, to steal money, to, cut corners, to do evil, to do the handiwork of a shaitan.
I think subdued is a very, very, correct word, because it's scary. Like when I first heard about it, I thought I had like a very eerie feeling about it, because everybody's just going to be not connecting in the real world, they'll be connecting virtually, but you could pretend to be completely different to who you are on there, I feel like this type of catfishing will just be heightened, won't it? You could pretend to be someone else you're not. And also there's that issue of you're constantly going to be advertised that, like for now, if me and you watch TV, that's when we'd be advertised towards, or on our phone. But if we put a phone down, we're not going to see no advertisements. But in the Metaverse, it's constantly on you. You won't, you won't know. Which I feel like is why one of the main reasons they're trying to do it. But leading to this is then, it's kind of a difficult question, because we don't really know exactly what it is yet, or how it's going to turn out. But how would you advise us Muslims to feel towards this Metaverse? Should we stay away, or should we? Because I thought, as from a business standpoint, it could be quite good to get in it early and, profit from it. But how should we look at it as Muslims?
For me, we have to be a part of this world, and we have to be effective members of society. And Islam has within it, because it's, divinely from Allah Azza wa Jal, everything that we need to govern what is going to make our lives easier or difficult. So whether it's the mega world or whatever, we're going to have verses from the Quran and the Sunnah of how to deal with that stuff.
True.
So for me, it's not true that the ostrich puts its head in the sand, but people say that. For me, I'm not one of those people who is going to encourage people to run away from challenges. And when things get hot, run away. And oh boy, you can get burned by that. No. I say take the bull by the horns, but just simply practice the religion. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not easy as that, but that's the answer. Allah put us in this earth, and he gave us what we need to be equipped in this earth. was clearly haram, we avoid it. And if it's not haram, but it could be haram, then we use it in the way that's halal. That's the struggle. That's what it is to be a human being. So we're not punks and chumps. We're going to back up from the challenges of life. No, we're going to get in the race and we're going to make things happen. We're going to make the thing halal. We're going to take out the haram from it. You know, that's my point of view. I look at my little boy, 3 years old. He's the LOML.
Okay.
Straight up.
Yeah.
He's the LOML for me. And I notice now he'll get out of the bed and say, oh, I want to go downstairs. And if you're still asleep, he'll go downstairs, get someone to turn the TV on, and he'll just sit there and watch TV. He loves Spider-Man.
Yeah.
There's a Spider-Man where there's a Spanish kid, Miles, is the Spider-Man.
Okay.
And then one came after that. So he was really into Spider-Man. And then he got into the Hulk. So I started singing, all right, now I want my boy to be strong and tough, but these characters are fictitious and he has too much love for them. So the point now is we pulled him off of that TV and we pulled him off of that iPad. And he has a lot of toys that he gets lost in his own world with these dinosaurs and all of the stuff that he has. He has a lot of toys, mashallah. Left alone, that boy will use his imagination. Flying dinosaurs, breathing, fire on the other soldiers and this and that. But when we put him on that TV, we dumb him down. He's just sitting there being bombarded with those optics and those images and what you just said. Oh, being overwhelmed with things they want him to, buy.
Yeah, messages,
those messages, things like that. So the future as it relates to my kid is that I say take the bull by the horns and make this thing good. But on a personal level, I worry about my kid. I don't want my kid to be exposed to all of that right now.
Okay. Would you say that for us to look at the situation, the best way is to kind of keep in mind of what's happening with the metaverse and try to stay knowledgeable and advise each other on how to use it the best? Because if we completely turn our heads to it, then younger Muslims will get pulled into this kind of stuff and eventually get sidetracked. So if we look into it from early and think of solutions for it and teach each other about it.
We have to.
Yeah.
One of the things that happened in the Muslim world, which is changing, the Gulf states.
Okay.
Some of those countries were very reserved. But now they're opening up. And they're bringing Cardi B, Rick Ross.
When you say Gulf states, which countries is that like?
Well, it's so much politics that's going on. I'm not going to get into that.
Okay.
Not even going to get into that.
Okay.
But some of these countries didn't allow women to drive.
Okay.
Some of these Arab countries were very proud about their so-called backwards cultures, respecting the older people, men and women being separated, non-Muslims not being able to come to the sacred lands of Islam and things like that. And I believe as a result of letting the West lead the way in technology, whether it's extracting petrol out of the ground or natural gases or whatever, when we leave it up to non-Muslims to do that, what we effectively do is say, hey, come, we need you. So we have to send our children to their countries. And when their children come to these countries, you now are shocked to see kids from these countries with tattoos now, displaying their tattoos. This was unheard of before.
Yeah.
So their kids travel to these countries and they drink the dunya up, literally. And they go back with the poison to their country. And the country invite the non-Muslims. Come, help us extract this oil, do this and do that. And now the country, they're changing. So part of that problem comes from letting non-Muslims be at the forefront of the advancements that we can have in technology. And now you need them.
Yeah. So you're saying that if Muslims
if we were on the ball from Jump Street right out of the door, our kids don't have to go anywhere, and we won't have to invite anybody.
Yeah.
We'll be self-sufficient. And this is part of what the Prophet ﷺ mentioned when he said about the believer. He said that the izzah of the Muslim is the fact that he doesn't, the izzah of a Muslim is that he prays at night, and his sharaf is that he doesn't need people. He's self-sufficient. I got my own job. I got my own business. I'm not on the dole. I got my own technology. We do in our own country. We like that. And then we use people because they're going to use us to make our lives, their lives better. But this thing about coming in as a second-class citizen in need of the first-class citizen's information and expertise, it's a problem.
Okay.
It's a major problem.
I feel like that conversation right there could be a good, way to talk about the golden age of Islam. What do you think? Because back then, I don't know enough. I want to learn about it. But obviously, back then, Muslims were...
No, absolutely. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Sorry. Continue.
I'm sorry, Philip. Something came to my head. This topic today is your topic. You're a younger brother, and you read this stuff. You know a lot more of this than I do. Mm-hmm. But our podcast is a classic case of merging multiple worlds. The world of the Asians, the world of the youngsters, the world of the unmarried men, the world of the newly married men.
Yeah, I was gonna hold up. You get me in trouble.
And also the world of, whatever I bring to the table, and we try to mesh that, because again, the world is changing, akhi. Like, I just interrupted you and you fell back and you didn't even try to offer. The millennial will say, hey, the Me Too movement, and you better listen to what I gotta say. So I will have to fall back. But you still have that akhlaq and that adab, and I'm sorry about that. But although you have that, man, we have to acknowledge as elders of the community that, no, man, we're not back in Mirpur. We're not back in rural Pendi. I'm not in Africa. I'm not in Saudi Arabia. Our children are growing up right here in the UK, and they have some serious issues. And if the imams and the older people can't fuse our knowledge, experience, and our concern and love and responsibility with what you guys are bringing to the table, then there's a serious problem that we're going to have to suffer. So that's why I welcome these things. As for the golden age of Islam, we'll be happy to do talks like that as well.
Inshallah. I also wanted to talk about artificial intelligence, but that's a whole different rabbit hole, so we could get into that another time, inshallah. But yeah, alhamdulillah, Sheikh, how do you feel about that? Alhamdulillah, I feel that was very good, very beneficial. Any last message to the people about this topic? Yeah,
the last message is just to stay balanced and stay in the middle. Mm-hmm. And remember, there's nothing that's going to present itself except that Al-Islam has given us a blueprint, a map by which we can navigate through this stuff. Don't be arrogant. Know your reality and your position. The Prophet said in an authentic hadith, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ala inni, I was given the mahajjat al-bayda. Inni taraktukum ala al-mahajjat al-bayda, layluha kan-nahariha, la yazighu anha illa halik. I have left behind for you people, meaning us. He left behind that for us. We Muslims today. I left behind you something that is clear and illuminated. Its nighttime is like its daytime. No one will be destroyed except the one that abandons it. What he meant by that is, I left behind for you the Quran and the Sunnah. Its nighttime is like its daytime, meaning, you can't see at night. So we're 1,440 something years removed from the Hijrah. It's a long time. Prophet Muhammad came over 1,400 years ago, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But with the Quran and the Sunnah, if you understand them, you take them, it's like the nighttime now. Mm-hmm. But if you have those sources, they'll illuminate the way for you. So just be balanced. And if you don't know, then ask those people who do know, and just don't be one of those people who are arrogant and say, I don't understand it, so therefore it's not right. It's not true. Stay balanced. And we look forward to bringing you guys some more beneficial content, inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah, one last thing, guys. Please start to, interact with us a bit. Leave us some feedback. Any topics you want us to discuss, just please comment. And any likes and shares will be much appreciated. Thank you very much, Sheikh.
You're welcome, man.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.